Hey everyone out there in Facebook land. I wanted to share some additional thoughts that I have on leadership and community. My book is out on Amazon now, and I hope you get a chance to check that out. One of the things that I discuss in my book is in a chapter in Servantship, and as an ethic of hot leadership in a community. The idea that primarily leadership is about servantship. It's about giving up my power or sharing my power so that others on my team and my community may thrive, may flourish in their agency, in their ability to create and contribute, participate in the community, and create new cultural horizons for the mission. I've been reflecting a lot on the parables of Jesus. It's amazing how many of those parables Jesus uses such exaggerated language to make his point. He's really trying to get something across by shocking his audiences by some of the comparisons that he makes. In the parable of Matthew 25, the parable where the master entrusts his property, his wealth, to 3 servants before he goes on a trip, is one such parable. Oftentimes in the parables that Jesus told, if there was a strong hierarchical figure in the parable, like a king or a master, that usually represented God. And in this parable, Jesus is comparing this master with incredible wealth to God. And he says the kingdom of God is like this. A man is on his way, he's going on a journey, and he entrusts this vast wealth to 3 servants. The master is, and usually in that day and age, you know, the economy was a subsistence economy. People usually lived on what they made day by day, and there was no savings and there was no investing. And so people that had vast amounts of wealth, like this man, were usually associated with the oppressive class, usually people that were associated with the official Roman Empire, or tax collectors, or maybe they were just corrupt merchants, but somehow they had accumulated a lot of wealth. And usually in the culture, it was assumed that people that accumulated such wealth did so at the expense of their country, their fellow countrymen. But here Jesus is saying God is like this master who shares his wealth with his servants. This got their attention, and he gives his wealth to the servants, and he expects his servants to exercise agency, their creative ingenuity to take this wealth and to produce more wealth, to make his wealth even more so. And so the first two servants go, and they do so, and they risk extravagantly. They risk 100% all of the wealth that's entrusted to them, and they make a 100% return on that investment. But the third servant takes the wealth that he received, and he buries it in the ground, and he does nothing with it. Now, many of us might think that's the safe thing to do. This is the master. He's expecting his wealth back. Let's bury it so that it's safe and protected and nothing happens to it. But this is the servant that the master rejects and rebukes and eventually casts out. It's the first 2 servants, the ones that risk so much, and they use their agency, and they create more wealth for the master, that the master praises and invites them to enter into his joy. In the same way, that's what the kingdom of God is like, and that is what our leadership and community is like. God has entrusted us with so many resources, not only financial resources, but our gifts and our talents and our networks and our relationships, as well as other people, the people that belong to our team. They are resources. They are valued members of our team, and God expects us to invest, to use our agencies and our teamwork to create new cultural horizons for our mission. And that means we share power. That means we share our resources. That means we contribute, and we welcome hospitably the differences of other people. Why is it that we are so often prone to power grabs, or try to get our way through power, through powering up on other people, through political processes or things that kind of silence those that think differently than we do. It's because of fear. It's because we are afraid that what we have is going to be taken away from us, that we live in a world of competition. But God's economy is one of abundance. It is one where we invest, we can expect a great return, because our God is a generous God and he rules a kingdom with a generous, abundant economy. And Jesus even says, I have come that my sheep will have life and have it abundantly. And I think that it is very life-giving when as a community we welcome one another and we share our resources, so that, especially our power, so that we can create new cultural horizons for the mission. I just want to leave that with you, give you something to think about. And if you get a chance, check out my book, Leadership and Community, the Missiology, Community, and Ethics of Missional Leadership. It's on Amazon and on Charis Publishing's website. Thanks, everyone. God bless.